My husband John and I love to entertain, and I feel like a lot of people don't because they're either intimidated or they don't know how. And the goal of this channel is to share what I learned growing up from my parents and from catering to make entertaining easy, fun, and enjoyable. So follow along as I share tips and recipes for your next gathering. Hey everyone, it's JR. The bar is one of the most important parts of a party, and this is how I set it up for a casual night. So we will give people the first cocktail, and if people want another one, they just kind of help themselves. So we start off with glasses that we've had made at a local stationery place. They are nice to have because they give a little flair to the party, and people can keep them as a partying gift, and they're reusable. So we use these for mixed drinks, and then we also have rocks glasses if people want their drinks in a shorter glass, and also wine glasses. And then for sodas, we typically have Coke, Diet Coke, Sprite, a ginger ale, and then a sparkling water. And the next step, I usually have the mixers out. If you want to do a specialty cocktail for your party, that's a great idea. I typically don't, since they are not very popular at our parties, but these are great for old fashions and Manhattans. And then for ice, we have a wet bar in our house, which is great. So I usually put an ice bucket in the sink and then an extra bag of ice in the sink so there are no spills on the floor or the counter. And then for wine, we have this great lucite bucket, which is awesome because it won't shatter. And I usually do my wine in this. So we have a Chardonnay or a white Burgundy, and I also serve a Sauvignon Blanc and a Rosé. I typically don't serve red wine at a party because there's a lot of spills, and some people know who they are for the spills around my house for parties. And then for liquor, these are the 5 liquors that I typically do. So for clear liquor, I do vodka, tequila, and gin. And then for brown liquor, I do bourbon or whiskey and a scotch. I found over the years that my group of friends love to drink vodka, so I typically buy a lot of vodka. And then for mixers, pretty traditional and straightforward. I do club soda and tonic, and then I learned this from my dad growing up. He loved ruby red grapefruit juice, so I usually do a ruby red and a cranberry juice. I've also learned over the years that our group of friends love club soda more than tonic just because there are no carbs or sugars. So we buy a lot more club soda. And then for fruit, I just do lemons and limes. So I slice them across the equator and then slice each half into fourths. That way you get 8 slices out of each piece of fruit. And they're big, so they're not like those little wafers that you have to use both hands and it gets all over your hands and not a whole lot of juice. And then a mixing spoon for cocktails, and then cocktail napkins. So I learned this trick catering, and it is an awesome trick because it is pretty and it's also easy to pick up each napkin at a time. So you take a stack of napkins out of the package like this, and you take a flat-sided glass and you turn it 25 times for 90 degrees. And then it will spin so it comes into a pretty presentation. And after 25 turns, you flip it over and you do the same 25 90-degree turns on the other side. And the finished product is a nice stack of napkins that anyone can just take one off the top for their cocktail or for their past hors d'oeuvres. In addition to liquor and wine, you have to have beer. And we place these copper tubs and coolers around the house filled with domestic choices, seltzers, and water. And they're great because people can pull as they wish and they don't clog the line for the bartender. So this is the typical bar that we set up for a casual night. And I use the same setup for a larger party. I just do it in a different location so the bartender can make drinks. So I hope these tips help, and I hope you use them at your next party. And the goal of this channel is to provide